Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, let's give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth, and salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that we listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another quick lesson. And for today's lesson is on the screen, gratitude and quails from the sea. Right, and this is a lesson that I kind of had on the back burner for a few weeks now, and it was a story that really moved me because it was something that I personally had gone through recently, in regards to my father. So what I want to do now, I want to get the word and then go through a little bit of the story, and as always, Yahweh Rataza, Yahweh willing, that this lesson may be edifying, right? So let's get the word gratitude first. I just want to define that. Okay, so this is gratitude in the etymology, and it says goodwill, thankfulness, thankful, pleasing, thankful. See if there's any more on that. Okay, so essentially it's someone who's thankful, right? So, and this is a virtue that, for me it really hit the point, and it really something I try to implement in my day to day. But removing myself from the equation, let's jump into the story, right? So this is Numbers chapter 11, verse 1, and here it says the people complained to Moses, right? So what I want to do, as a matter of fact, I'll read verse 1, right? So here it says in NLT, so when the people complained, it displeased the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire burnt among them and consumed them that were most in the parts of the camp. Right, so I'm just going to jump around in this chapter because I don't want to make the lesson too long. So verse 4, it says, and the mixed multitude that was among them felt lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? In verse 5, it says, we remember the fish, and we did eat in Egypt freely the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. In verse 6, but now our soul is dried away, there is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. And the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of bdellium. Right, so the Israelites were in a situation where, okay, they were in a situation that was not as pleasing because they didn't have all the freedom to eat all the little things that here and there that were able to eat, back in the time of Egypt. But also remembering, it also outlined that the Lord actually fed our people when we were in this particular situation, right? Right, so it goes into detail about the manna, right? So before I continue, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to continue real quickly in verse 8, and it says, and the people went about and gathered it in the mills and beat it with a mortar, and beat and baked it in pans and made cakes out of it, and the taste of it was the taste of fresh oil. Right, so our people, actually, let me continue first. And when the dew fell upon the camp when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Right, so our people were in a situation where they were still, able to eat, but they eventually, throughout the rest of the chapter, our people began to complain, right, and started murmuring like they did not have anything to eat at all, right, and I thought it was a very As a matter of fact, let me go into the more of the manna part first, because I thought this was very, very interesting. I think it's 31. Okay, this is Exodus 16, verse 31. And it reads, "And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey." Right, so just to get a visual of actually, what the Lord actually fed us, after fleeing from getting out of Egypt, right? So, and Moses said, "This is the thing which the Lord commandeth. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth, from the land of Egypt." And Moses said unto Aaron, "Take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it upon the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to be kept for your generations." Right? And as the Lord commanded Moses, Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna for 40 years, until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Right, so our people were in a situation, where they were still, even despite the fact that they were in a I don't want to say an unfavorable situation, a situation where they were not in the best, I guess, condition. But the Lord, despite that, the Lord still took care of them. The Lord still took care of us, in this particular situation, despite the fact that they did not have the super, all the amenities that Egypt had to offer. But our people are very, very forgetful, right? So they were remembering all the good things, within Egypt, but they were not remembering the bad things, what they were going through, the time of Egypt, right? The rigorous slavery, for example, right? So, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring out this particular lesson, and bring out this account, I should say, because this was a story that really, really, for me, that hit home, because I was in a particular situation, with my father. And I was in a particular situation where I was doing all these particular things, and like, for example, I went to go visit him. I brought him pumpkin seeds and almonds, and tea, clothing. I tried to get the clothing to be made of linen, because linen is a very breathable fabric. I drove him around in times when I needed to be, right? And it shows that, through that experience that I personally went through, but also going through this account, it made me realize how ungrateful our people can be. It made me realize that our people actually, don't actually stop to consider, the good things that the Lord had done for us. In this present time, with our apostles and elders on down, with our prophets, pushing out the message, the message, and the message is like it says in our Matthew, freely, we have received, freely given, right? And but even back in this time, when we were in the wilderness, our people did not stop to consider, what's the word I'm looking for? Our people didn't stop to consider, the good things the Lord had done for us, right? And as a matter of fact, let me jump to this next precept. Okay, this is Sirach chapter 11, verse 25. And it reads, "In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction, And in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity, right? So our people, in this particular situation, they forgot about the afflictions that they went through, because the precept was saying they're remembering all the little good the little trinkets, all the little treats and delicacies that that made Egypt somewhat pleasing, right? Or they did not forget the afflictions that they went through, right? And because they were reminiscing about the garlic, oh, the onions, oh, the leeks, oh, the fish. They were reminiscing about all these different things, and they completely they completely forgot about the afflictions that they went through, right? And our people they tend to, going through this experience, you know I understood that our people can be very, very, very ungrateful. And through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it's actually opened my eyes to even understand, and to practice practice this sense of gratitude. you know um Even when we're in a situation that is, how would you call it, I guess, not as favorable as we would like it to be, but still remembering the good things, right? And still having that communication with the Heavenly Father through His Son, right? And as a matter of fact, let me get another precept. Just bear with me on this. I think it's 68. 68. Okay, Psalm 68, verse 19, and it says, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the Most High of our salvation, Salah. Right? So, the Most High has given us, through His Son Yahushai, given us a, grace. That's a huge thing, especially in these times where we're in a particular predicament, where we cannot keep the laws 100%, to the best of our ability, right? And that grace is solely, needed, because even during the Sabbath, for example, a lot of us have to go to work, right? And we're in particular situations we're in a particular situation that we're not able to keep the law 100%, right? But really going back to hit the nail in the coffin, really, is to understand that even when we're in I guess a situation that is not as favorable, that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai has been very, very merciful towards us, and even in like applying this, in my personal walk, like for me, for example, if I may use myself as an example, um is praying, but before I leave the house, and also praying, when I before I eat, and praying before I leave work, right? Because man, a lot of our people don't even make it to the end of the day, if I'm going to be completely frank and honest, right? Sometimes a lot of our people take their little situations, little trinkets that they have for granted, and a lot of them don't even make it home. Like, they might have their wife, their children, their husband, or whoever waiting at home for them. And a lot of jakes don't make it home at the end of the day. There's a lot of sometimes I'll be driving on the highway, and a lot of our people and they're driving. You see some drivers driving crazy. There's a lot of spirits out here created for vengeance, right? So this just goes feeding back into this this theme of gratitude, right? And because we're all going through some kind of affliction, right? But really, to hit the nail on the head is to implement, for myself as well, and like implement this practice of being grateful, because we have our health, we have the Heavenly Father's presence through His Son Yahweh Shai, Lord's will that, he continues to have mercy upon us until, destruction comes. You know what I'm saying? And this is just a lesson. 'Cause sometimes I like, for me, I think about before I leave for work, for example, or leave before I go to work, I always say Thawada Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. When I get to work, Thawada Yahweh Bashim Yahushai when I make it home safely, right? Going back to the point I made earlier, because a lot of our people don't make it home at the end of the day, right? And it made sense. As a matter of fact, let me continue the story. I don't want to ramble on too much, but I also wanted to share my testimony and couple it, with, the scriptures, right? And so what I want to do is jump down to verse 31, because it also shows what the Lord actually did, despite the fact that, our people were constantly complaining and murmuring, right? Okay, so this is Numbers 11, verse 31. I'm reading NLT. So it says, and the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai sent a wind that brought quail from the sea and let them fall on all around the camp. For miles in every direction there were quail, flying about 3 feet above the ground. In the KJV it says, and there went forth a wind from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it were a day's journey on this side, and it was a day's journey on the other side round about the camp, and it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. So that's a lot of quail, right? So, before I continue, let me get cubit measurement. Okay, so it says here a cubit's about 1.5 feet, so that's about 3 feet. It's a lot of quail. That's a lot of quail. So let's actually, before I continue, let's see benefits of quail eggs. I never had it myself, but so here it says quail eggs provide greater amounts of protein, iron, vitamin B12, and healthy fats. They also boast properties that, I'm guessing this was to say boost, properties that can help treat allergies, reverse cellular damage, and help your immune system. Nervous system, excuse me. Right, let's see. I never had it myself, but so I guess this is some of the nutrition that you can get from it. So it says that it's rich in protein. Proteins are made up of building blocks of amino acids. Your body uses these amino acids to build and repair muscles and bones, to make hormones and enzymes. They can also be used as an energy source, right? So here it says balance cholesterol. Here it says cleanse your body. Our environment today contains toxins, pollutants, and heavy metals. Eating quail eggs may help get rid of toxins in your bloodstream. One study suggested that quail eggs helped prevent toxicity caused liver damage in rats. Scientists are hopeful in the same results can be achieved for humans, but studies are still ongoing. Okay, so what I'll do, I could always link this in the description, right? But really the point I wanted to hit, as a matter of fact, let me go back to the chapter. Really the point I wanted to hit was the kindness that the Lord had shown to us in this particular situation, despite our behavior, right? So verse 32, it says, and the people stood up all that day and night, and the next day and they gathered the quails. They gathered, he that gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they up, spread them all abroad for themselves around the camp. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the wrath of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote the people with a great plague. Right? So, the Lord was upset. In even going through my personal situation, with my father doing these particular things, it made me understand, why the Lord was angry in this particular instance, because, I can't imagine, for example, if you have a woman and your woman, like say, for example, you decide to treat your woman, right? And you buy her, for example, let's just say a Honda Civic. And so as you're about to, hand her the keys and she notices it's a Honda, I can't imagine your woman saying to you, "Oh, you can get me a Benz?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the lack of ungratefulness, like, and this is exactly why the Lord smote our people, in this particular situation, and why he was so angry. So, for me, going through this situation made me understand why the Lord was angry, and why the Lord is going to bring a lot of judgment upon our people in this particular time, man. Right? Because our people, this is one quality that they honestly lack. And if they learn to actually turn back from their wicked ways, one, and actually look back, because that's what respect is. Respect really means to look back. You know what I'm saying? Respect meaning to look, meaning back. Our people don't look back enough. This is why we're constantly in a situation, where we're just, or we this, like, for example, this is why the other nations don't respect us, because we don't respect ourselves, but on a deeper level we don't respect the Heavenly Father. So this is why we're in this particular situation that we're in, right? So I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to bring out, right? And yeah, this covers everything. But I was kind of jumping around here and there, but I just kind of equated to us being a spiritual woman, and the Lord doing particular things for us, and then this is the way this is a good trait to actually practice, right? Because honestly, really and truly, especially in these times, we want the Lord's mercy more than ever, right? So anyways, I really pray and hope that this lesson was edifying, and hopefully I kind of jumped around a little bit, but hopefully all of this actually tied together and made sense. And so I'm going to close out and say all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth, and salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. Until next time, I say Shabbat Shalom.